White flag raised. And that off. Race 4, graded action, the John Lynch carpets and flooring, Monksfield, Novice hurdle 2.5 miles. They're at the first flight, over which Walks in June leads Frankie John, Kalypso'chance, followed by Eclipse Chaser. The big Clubman on the outside of Blue Waters, and the back marker in these early stages is Phoenix, Arizona. Making the bend to flight number 2 before the straight. In front is Walks in June, Dad O'Keefe by 2 lengths to Kalypso'chance. Jack Kennedy over second. Third is Frankie John and Dennis Hogan, and they're followed by Eclipse Chaser and Paul Townend. Shading the 5th is Blue Waters, Sam Ewing from the big Clubman. Sean O'Keefe, and the back marker is the outside of Phoenix, Arizona, and Paul O'Neill. Coming on to the end of the first half mile. In front is Walks in June from Kalypso'chance, Frankie John, Eclipse Chaser. Blue Waters, followed by the big Clubman in Phoenix, Arizona. All 7 coming over this way. It's Walks in June leading Kalypso'chance, Frankie John, Eclipse Chaser over in 4th, and then Blue Waters with the last 2, the big Clubman and Phoenix, Arizona. As they venture on in between the 2 flights in the straight, very few changes in the order. In front is Walks in June from Kalypso'chance, Frankie John, Eclipse Chaser, Blue Waters, the big Clubman, Phoenix, Arizona. As the 7 set their sights on the flight nearest the stands, last one next time, Kalypso'chance, awkward in the air there. They're on rising ground to the winning post with well over a circuit to go. The John Lynch carpets and flooring, Monksfield Novice hurdle. The leader is Walks in June by a little more than a length to Kalypso'chance, 1.5 lengths to the 3rd running Frankie John, followed up to the bend by Eclipse Chaser, and then Blue Waters, the big Clubman. Phoenix, Arizona has always been last. 7 more flights left to jump as they go to this one, which will bring them past the halfway stage. Walks in June continues to lead the way to Kalypso'chance and Frankie John, Eclipse Chaser, Blue Waters, the big Clubman. 7th of the 7 is Phoenix, Arizona, as they turn down the far side. 6 flights to jump. Walks in June in front from the outset. Is followed 1.5 lengths back by Kalypso'chance. Another 1.5 lengths to in 3rd Frankie John. Something similar to Eclipse Chaser in 4th. And then Blue Waters, the big Clubman in Phoenix, Arizona. Then in single file, jumping the flight across from the stands, Walks in June. At the completion of a circuit leads a couple of lengths, Kalypso'chance, and then Frankie John, Eclipse Chaser next, and then Blue Waters, the big Clubman in Phoenix, Arizona, as they go away from that center flight in the back straight. Less than a mile to go. In front, still Walks in June. From Kalypso'chance, Frankie John, Eclipse Chaser, Blue Waters, the big Clubman in Phoenix, Arizona. To the last flight in the back straight. This is 4 from the finish. Walks in June. At the last of the 3 in the bag from Kalypso'chance, as Frankie John is just out jumped for the 3rd by Eclipse Chaser. It's followed by the big Clubman, Blue Waters, and a little break to Phoenix, Arizona. Less than 6 furlongs to go. They're heading for the 3rd last flight. Walks in June. Frankie John's improved on the outside of Kalypso'chance. Tracked by Eclipse Chaser, 2 lengths to the big Clubman, and then Blue Waters and Phoenix, Arizona. As they jumped that flight, which was 3 from the finish. Walks in June. Kalypso'chance headed for 2nd by Frankie John. These 3 slipstreamed by Eclipse Chaser, both in touch the big Clubman, and Blue Waters leaving behind as struggling on Phoenix, Arizona. As Walks in June is joined on the turn into the straight by Frankie John. Then Kalypso'chance, followed by Eclipse Chaser. And then the big Clubman and Blue Waters in line for the final two flights. The John Lynch Carpets and Flooring Monksfield Novice Hurdle. Walks in June from Frankie John to the inside Calypso's Chance. Not much between the three. Closely followed by Eclipse Chasers now shaken up to try and make ground on the leading three. And then the big Clubman wide of the quartet. One flight left to jump. Calypso's Chance over on the far side from Frankie John. Getting one behind the saddle is Eclipse Chaser, and then the big Clubman tying up as the long-time leader Walks in June. Calypso's Chance, Frankie John, the big Clubman is trying to stay on. Eclipse Chaser's been eased. The final flight over which the leader is just Calypso's Chance from the big Clubman, who's challenging on the outside, then Frankie John, but it's Calypso's Chance flat out, but containing the big Clubman. Calypso's Chance, Martin Cizek, second time over flights to win the Monksfield.
Happy to get one.
Let's hope it starts today.
Yeah. Andrew, you happy, mate? Gordon Elliott and Gigginstown House have struck again in the John Lynch Carpets Monksfield Novice Hurdle with Kalypso'chance. Gordon, congratulations. A very different Kalypso'chance today to the one we saw at Down Royal, which it obviously needed to be. How satisfying was it to see him show something like his true colours there?
It was great, Gary. I was nervous after the last day, but he was a different horse with a lead today. You could see him, his head was dropped. He was in a rhythm after a couple of hurdles. When down right, he went round with his head up in the air. I'd say mine just probably wasn't ready, and it's probably all happening a bit fast over 2 miles. But yeah, look, maybe I was trying to be too clever and split them all up the north, but that was more like him today.
Was it an easy enough decision to go for this rather than the maiden hurdle? What was the ultimate deciding factor?
Well, I suppose the beauty of training for Gigginstown is that they love running in great races, and if you make the decision, you make it together. You know, you won't be giving out if we're going for this rather than a maiden. So like Eddie and Michael, you know, that there's no problem if we make the decision together. If it goes wrong, it goes wrong. The easy thing to do would have been went for a maiden hurdle, but it paid off.
Watching him there as he toughed it out up the hill, could jump at the last as well. Were you thinking maybe you'd like to see him go a bit further in time?
I'd imagine he could go further. Look, I'd say anything from 2.5 to 3 won't be a problem. It wouldn't shock me if you seen him ending up over 3 miles at the end of the season on better ground. But I'd imagine he's not down 2 quick runs there now. I'd imagine, and this will probably change, we might just maybe keep him now for an ace, maybe something like that. But I'll talk to Michael and Eddie and we'll see.
That's the grade one in January, maybe long term.
Yeah, look, he's had 2 runs now, so we'll see where we go.
Just before we let you go, Safarur bids to step up on last year's good run in the next race. What are your thoughts on him?
He's a great chance. He runs well fresh, lot of weight.
And finally, what's the best of yours in the Troy Town? You gave us the winner last year, actually. Fair play to you, Stutzikini.
Yeah, I'd probably, just because he's had a run, he's unexposed, maybe the horse down the bottom Beaufort scale each way.
Great stuff. Gordon, thanks a lot. Cheers.
Thanks, Gary.
Cheers.
You better memory than I have.
Watch live racing now on racingtv.com.